Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to share a story that is simple, quiet, and powerful, a story about a man who reached a point in his life where he felt he had no one left in the world but God, and in that lonely space he discovered a strength he never knew he had. This is not a story about instant miracles or magic solutions. It is a story about patience, faith, and the silent transformation that happens when a person stops running from pain and starts walking with trust. There was a man named Adam who once lived a very ordinary life. He had a small job in a busy city, a circle of friends he met every weekend, and a family he believed would always stand beside him. He was not rich, and he was not famous, but he felt secure. Every morning he woke up with a plan, and every night he slept with the comfort of knowing he was not alone. He never thought deeply about how fragile that comfort was, because when life is smooth, we rarely imagine storms. The storm arrived slowly. First he lost his job when the company he worked for suddenly closed. At the beginning he was calm. He told himself it was temporary, that something better would come. His friends encouraged him, and his family told him not to worry. But weeks turned into months, and interviews led to rejection after rejection. The savings he had carefully built started to disappear. The laughter in his home grew quieter. Conversations became tense and short. As financial pressure increased, relationships around him began to change. Some friends stopped calling as often. Invitations became rare. Even within his family, frustration replaced patience. Arguments started over small things. Adam felt as if the ground beneath him was slowly cracking. He tried harder, sending out more applications, working small temporary jobs, but nothing seemed stable. Each failure felt heavier than the last. One evening after a particularly difficult day, Adam sat alone in his dark room. The house was silent except for the ticking of a clock. He looked at his phone and realized there were no new messages, no missed calls. For the first time, the loneliness hit him with full force. Tears filled his eyes as he whispered a simple prayer. He did not use complicated words. He only said, "God, I don't understand why this is happening. I feel like I have no one left. Please don't leave me too." That night marked a turning point. Nothing dramatic changed the next morning. He did not wake up to a job offer or sudden wealth. But something inside him felt different. There was a small, steady calm in his chest. He decided that even if he felt abandoned by people, he would not abandon his connection with God. He began to wake up earlier each day to pray and reflect. Those quiet moments became his anchor. As days passed, Adam started to notice subtle changes in his perspective. He still faced rejection, and his situation was still difficult, but he reacted differently. Instead of seeing each setback as proof that he was worthless, he treated it as part of a longer journey. He reminded himself that his value was not measured by his job title or bank account. This belief did not erase his problems, but it gave him the courage to face them. During this period, Adam also began helping others in small ways. Despite having little, he volunteered at a local community center, assisting people who were struggling even more than he was. Listening to their stories opened his eyes. He realized that pain was a shared human experience. In serving others, he felt a sense of purpose that had been missing from his life. It was as if God was teaching him that even in emptiness, there was room to give. One afternoon at the community center, he met an elderly man who had lost his family years before. The old man smiled warmly and said, "When you think you have no one, you discover that God is closer than your own breath." Those words stayed with Adam. He repeated them to himself whenever fear tried to return. Slowly, his loneliness transformed into a quiet companionship. He started to feel that he was walking through life hand in hand with an unseen guide. Months later, an unexpected opportunity appeared. A small organization where he had volunteered offered him a permanent position. The salary was modest, but the work was meaningful. When he received the news, he did not shout or celebrate wildly. Instead, he closed his eyes and whispered a thank you. He understood that the job was not just an end to his struggle but a symbol of the journey he had traveled. Even after his situation improved, Adam never forgot the nights he had spent feeling completely alone. Those memories kept him humble and compassionate. He continued his daily prayers and his service to others. He reached out to people who seemed isolated, remembering how painful silence could be. His relationships slowly healed, and new friendships formed, built on deeper understanding. The most important change, however, was internal. Adam no longer feared loneliness in the same way. He had learned that when human support fades, a different kind of strength can emerge. His faith had become a steady light, guiding him through uncertainty. He realized that having no one but God did not mean being abandoned. It meant discovering a source of resilience that could not be taken away by circumstances. This story is not only about Adam. It is about anyone who has ever sat in a quiet room and felt forgotten. It is about the moments when life strips away our distractions and forces us to face ourselves. In those moments, we often feel fragile and lost. But they also hold the potential for deep growth. When a person turns toward faith instead of despair, something remarkable can happen. Faith does not promise a life without hardship. Adam still faces challenges, just like everyone else. But he carries them differently now. He knows that every difficulty can teach patience, empathy, and trust. He understands that success is not measured only by external achievements but by the strength of the heart. If you ever find yourself in a place where you feel you have no one left, remember this story. Remember that loneliness can be a doorway rather than a prison. It can lead you to a relationship with God that is personal and profound. In that relationship, you may discover courage you did not know you possessed and peace that does not depend on the approval of others. Sometimes life removes people and comforts from our path so we can focus on what truly matters. It invites us to slow down, to listen, and to reconnect with our inner selves. These periods are painful, but they are also sacred. They shape our character and prepare us for future blessings. Adam often reflects on his journey and realizes that losing everything he once relied on forced him to build a foundation that could not crumble. His trust in God became that foundation. It supported him when nothing else did. And from that support grew a new life filled with purpose and gratitude. So as you continue your own journey, carry this message with you. When you feel surrounded by darkness, do not assume you are alone. Reach out in prayer, in reflection, in quiet conversation with the divine. Allow that connection to steady your steps. Even if the road ahead seems uncertain, you can walk it with confidence, knowing that you are guided. This story reminds us that transformation often begins in solitude. When a man has no one but God, he may feel broken at first, but within that brokenness lies the seed of renewal. With patience and faith, that seed can grow into a strength that changes his life forever. And just like Adam, you may one day look back on your hardest moments and see them not as endings, but as the beginning of a deeper, richer existence.